For those dying to know the dead, the grave is a hallowed haunt. To deface it, a mortal sin. The subject is a simple man with a simple mission: to replace a bust stolen from a sacred gravesite of Jim Morrison. He'll spend thousands of dollars, he'll travel thousands of miles, and all for the simple satisfaction of returning dignity to the Lizard King's tattered tomb. But Todd Mitchell and his nephew Dan are about to add one more attraction to the Parisian tour: the cruel confines of a French prison.
Hi, I'm Todd Mitchell, and we're in Layton, Utah. I'm a machinist, so I work with metals and things a lot, and that's one of the things that helped me with this.
And I'm Dan Mitchell. I'm Todd's nephew. Just got caught up in his wild ideas.
The idea, well, it's about mounting this bust on Jim Morrison's grave. We decided that giving something anonymously would be a real neat way of doing it. I was 13 years old when he died, and I mean, it was really devastating. I knew that Jim was buried in Paris, and I always thought I would really like to be able to go and see his grave. The main reason I actually decided to go is, I'd seen the pictures of his gravesite before and seen the bust, and I always thought how I'd like to be able to go and have some pictures taken with the bust. When I rounded the tombstone and saw the inscription Jim Morrison or James Douglas Morrison on the front of it, and the bust was gone, I mean, I felt really disappointed. My closure wasn't there. And then it started making me think about how many people I could impact if I were to replace that bust. Danny was all for it. I mean, he was divorced at the time. I mean, really didn't...
Divorce just barely became final, and I was ready to let loose and have some fun.
The first thing we did was get the bust made. I had to find a sculptor. I had to find hundreds of pictures of Jim to make the sculpture as accurate as possible. It took several months for the sculpture to be done in the clay, and then we had to get it cast. I literally started making lists and planning things out and what we would do once we got there. We had a bottle of Irish whiskey that we had taken with us. We had some special shot glasses made, one that says Jim on it, one that had my initials, one that had Danny's initials. We were going to fill all three glasses, and then Danny and I were going to have a toast to Jim, and then we were going to leave the letter with the shot glasses sitting on it, with Jim's would still be full, obviously. We knew there was a certain amount of danger that was involved with us getting caught.
It was a rush.
There was video surveillance and also a still camera that's motion activated, and so we had to try and plan a way of being in the cemetery without being discovered. We get to France, immediately, headed over to find a place to hide in the cemetery and stay until we got the bus mounted.
We are sitting in the sepulcher, waiting for it to get dark. We've been here for an hour.
A couple hours went by, I think about 10 o'clock. We hadn't seen anybody for about 3 hours. I said, get the hammer drill and the battery and put them together and hand it to me. So he hands it to me, and I drilled the one hole for the center so I could mount the template to it and pounded the bolt down in it.
And the noise.
Oh.
Well, when he fired the thing up in the cemetery, it sounded like World War III going on.
It sounded like we had a jackhammer. I look at Danny, he looks at me, and I just went,
let's get busy.
Just went to it, because I just thought, well, it's going to make noise, it's going to make noise. I just started drilling the holes as fast as I could drill them. Then I got three of the 4 holes that I needed to drill, drilled all the way, and I was just getting lined up on the 4th hole. And all of a sudden I could see the shadow running through the cemetery. I could see that it was a dog and the guard there. He got his light and was looking, shining it on Jim, and he just plopped down onto the grave next to Jim's and just sat there and said, "Beautiful statue, beautiful statue." He said that several times. Just sat there, and I'm thinking, cool, this guy's gonna let us finish.
About a minute later,
Yeah, a minute later.
second guard comes walking up.
The second guard came, and you could tell that they were having this discussion. It was like this first guard was saying, look at what these guys are trying to do. This is neat.
Got in an argument with each other about what we were there for.
The guard actually said this in English, so I know what he said. He said, no. And so it was like they really did ask, can we just let them do this? Because it was like they saw that we were trying to do something good or nice. They put us in the back of this police van, and we're driving through the city. And all of a sudden, I could see the sign that said La Bastille. I thought, holy crap, they're going to put us in jail.
Took us in, strip searched us, took our shoelaces out of our shoes and gave us our shoes back to wear.
Anything that had a string to it or a belt or anything like that, they took. I guess they were afraid we'd hang ourselves or something, you know. We were asked the question that you came here not to destruct, but to construct. And I just said, we. I shook my head, yes, and he shook his head like, this is unbelievable. This is so opposite of what anybody else has done. At that point, they just let us go.
We knew it wasn't destructive, you know, we weren't in to destroy anything.
You know, we didn't go over there to put graffiti on anything or to be destructive in any way. We went to give something back to somebody that had given a lot to us. We don't feel like the story's closed with this. I mean, it's our dream to still see the bust on Jim's grave.
Brandon Furler, a restless rocker nourished by the songs of a dead man. We last saw Brandon waving off his stagnant hometown to chase Cobain's ghost. Now it's a straight shot south from Vancouver, British Columbia to the gateway of grunge, Seattle, Washington.
When I got into Seattle, I was looking for the Space Needle. Notice how cold it is. It's freezing. I'm glad I brought my flannel. And I saw the buildings, and once I saw the Space Needle, my heart dropped. Now that I'm here, I was kind of freaking out. Kurt Cobain could have been right here, right now, lighting a smoke up or walking down the street on the same sidewalk. I was kind of worried about the hospital because I heard bad things about it, but it's a very beautiful area. I thought it was going to be like a grungy place, but I feel like I'm in a college dorm. This feels like this is my home. This is where I should be. This is my bed. I stay up here, number 4. My bag. This is my little notebook. Kind of writing trip to Seattle. Just kind of things that's been happening and kind of thinking out loud while onto the piece of paper. I was freaking out that I'm actually in Seattle. I'm here. I'm here and I'm loving it. Every bit of it. I could just sit outside and have a cigarette in the city and I'm having the best time of my life, you know what I mean? The mentor in my mind defines someone who's moved you. That's what Kurt Cobain was to me. Maybe I'd feel, you know, the presence of Kurt if I spent time at his house in Seattle.